Oh, Edward, you let your parents use me. You stole my safe. You lied to me. And you disappeared without a trace. But did you even check inside the safe before committing a crime?
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't steal anything from you.
Cut the act. I know you took it, but guess what? There is no money in that safe.
What? No money? But I thought you said you had savings in there.
I did say that, didn't I? But I replaced the money with something far more valuable. My name is Mary. I am 58 years old and I have always loved saving money. It all started when my mom opened a savings account for me as a kid, and I got hooked on watching the numbers in my passbook grow. So I diligently saved bit by bit, starting with just $1. Seeing my savings grow by a few cents in interest each year always brought a delightful surprise to my younger self. Soon enough, my interest in finance grew to be my career. At the age of 27, I started working as a financial planner and giving people advice on asset management. One day, a friend from college asked me to help an old childhood friend named Edward, who was in serious trouble due to gambling and his parents' debt. I agreed to meet him and see how I could assist. When I met Edward, I couldn't help but be charmed by his handsome looks and refreshing smile. He was really honest with me from the start. He came from a very problematic family. Both of his parents were having a gambling problem and he was burdened with their debt. I gladly offered him my advice. I never expected that would lead to something more. But life has a funny way of surprising us. As time went by, I found myself drawn to Edward's vulnerability and honesty. Despite his troubles, there was a spark in his eyes that showed he genuinely wanted to change his life and support his parents. He didn't try to hide anything. I admired his courage to open up about his struggles, and it made me want to help him even more. As I started giving him advice on how to consolidate his debts and reduce his monthly payments, we spent more time together. I found myself looking forward to our meetings and enjoying his company. There was something about him that made me feel comfortable and at ease. Our friendship grew stronger, and I found myself thinking about him even when we weren't together. I admired his determination to improve his life, and it inspired me to support him wholeheartedly. Gradually, my feelings for Edward started to change. I couldn't deny the fact that I was falling for him. His caring nature and genuine personality drew me in, and I realized that I wanted to be more than just a friend to him. It wasn't easy to admit my feelings, especially considering the circumstances, but I took a leap of faith and told him how I felt. To my surprise, he confessed that he felt the same way. It was as if a weight had been lifted off my shoulders and a newfound happiness filled my heart. Our relationship blossomed from there, and we became inseparable. Edward's smile became my favorite sight, and his presence brought me comfort and joy. We laughed together, shared our dreams, and supported each other through both the good times and the challenging ones. Falling in love with Edward was unexpected, and it happened so naturally, and I had let my guard down. Despite opposition from some of my friends, we got married, hoping that together we could face Edward's debt. My income was good for my age group, so most of Edward's earnings went toward his debt, while I provided for both of us. I didn't mind at first because I really trusted Edward. Years went by and we gradually reduced Edward's debt to about $20,000. It was a significant achievement and I was proud of our progress. We even had a son named Max, who had inherited his father's looks and charm. He was my pride and joy, but I couldn't help but notice that he also picked up on Edward's lack of discipline and indecisiveness. On the other hand, Edward was changing in a way that I couldn't empathize with. It seemed like his constant conflict with his parents had somehow worn him down, and he had lost his determination to change his life somewhere along the way. Edward would occasionally borrow money from predatory lenders and try to trick friends into lending him money. But I kept a close eye on him and managed to keep him in line as best as I could. As time passed, my in-laws' financial situation worsened, and they started asking Edward for more money again. It seemed like they were struggling to make ends meet, which I found really odd. I told him that I couldn't stand this situation for much longer. I couldn't be the only person who wanted to save money and change their lives for the better. Edward and his parents needed to have that determination themselves. And so Edward decided to stop providing for his parents to prevent the debt from increasing further. To be fair, I didn't think it was such a big problem. Edward's parents ran a small grocery store, and I knew that if they just set their minds to it, they would be able to pay off the $20,000 debt in a year or so. I supported Edward's decision. It really brought us some peace. But little did I know that it would also lead to new problems. My in-laws didn't take the cut ties lightly and started blaming Edward for being ungrateful and not repaying their debts. The situation was really tense. One day, Edward's mom called me on the phone with the most catty attitude. "Hello?" "Oh, Marie. Glad I have you on the phone." Hi, Janet. How have you been?" "Let's just skip all the small talk, shall we? Don't you have anything to say to me to my face, huh?" Is everything okay? Are you talking about what happened with Edward? I know it's been hard for everyone, but I hope we can discuss this calmly." "Calmly? How can I be calm when my own son has abandoned us?" "Janet, Edward didn't abandon you. He made a difficult decision because we couldn't bear the constant demands for money." "Oh, and it's all your doing, isn't it? I knew it. You have always been controlling him and whispering things in his ear." "Janet, that's not true. I have been very supportive of Edward." "Supporting him? I bet you just wanted him to get rid of his responsibilities towards us so that you could keep all his money for yourself." "That's not fair. I've worked hard to help Edward pay off his debts. We have been through a lot." "You think you know challenges? You have no idea what it's like to struggle like I do." "I understand that it's been tough for you. But Edward can't keep giving you money indefinitely. He needs to take care of his own family now, and that includes our son." "You're brainwashing him. I know it. He would never have done this if it weren't for you." "Please, Janet, stop with the accusations. Edward is an adult, and he made this decision on his own. I didn't force him into anything." "I don't believe you. You have always wanted to control him and take advantage of him." "That's not true." "Well, it's clear that he's changed. He used to be so caring and considerate of us, and now he's just cold and distant. I blame you for all of this." "Janet, I hope you can find it in your heart to understand and forgive him. He loves you, but he also needs to take care of his own family now." "I don't want to listen to your lecture, Mary. I'm done with you now. At least I know who you truly are." And just like that, my mother-in-law hung up the phone. Both of my parents-in-law refused to talk to me unless I apologized. But I didn't think I did anything wrong. I was just protecting myself and the future of my own kid. But the drama certainly did not end there. As a matter of fact, things got only worse and worse. One day, something truly terrible happened. My father-in-law collapsed and Edward rushed to the hospital to be with his parents. Turns out he had a stroke, which could have been fatal if he wasn't brought to the hospital in time. Edward decided to provide for his parents once again, and he messaged me about the situation. Edward apologized for breaking our promise of not giving them money. He was torn between supporting his parents and staying true to our agreement. I understood his predicament and supported him in providing some financial assistance for his dad's medical bills. After all, they were still his family, but it hurt me to see him going back on our promise, especially after all the hard work we put into reducing their debt. Of course, I also made it clear to Edward that the incident provided more reasons for his parents to start saving. They are getting older and their health was at risk. Edward agreed to have a proper conversation with them. Soon it was time for Max to go off to high school. He had always been a very gifted kid, so I tried to send him to the best school we could afford. Max was really ambitious, just like I was when I was his age. He had expressed his wish to study abroad in Europe multiple times to us, but we weren't sure if we could afford that with everything that had been going on. Well, to be fair, Edward wasn't sure. I had always been very prepared in that regard. One day, Edward sat me down so we could talk about Max's future.
Hey, Mary, can we talk for a moment?
Of course, Edward. What's on your mind?
Well, I've been thinking about Max's future, and I was wondering if we could afford to send him to college.
Listen, Edward, I have actually been saving up specifically for his education for a long time now.
Oh, how come I never knew about this?
I just know you have a lot on your plate, at least financially, but look, I have around $200,000 in savings that we can use for that.
Oh, that's good to know. I just want to make sure he has the best opportunities, you know.
I understand, Edward. We both want what's best for Max, and I'm glad we can support him through college.
You know, it's great that you have been so responsible with our finances, Mary.
Well, it's been a passion of mine, and I wanted to ensure we have a secure future for ourselves and Max.
Mary, do you keep your passbook and cash in the safe?
Yes. Why do you ask?
Oh, no reason. It's just that I was wondering if we could use the safe for something else.
Something else? Like what?
Oh, you know, just thinking about some personal stuff. Don't worry about it.
Okay, is everything alright?
Everything's fine, Mary. Don't worry too much.
I had a very uneasy feeling after that conversation, but I didn't know why. Edward seemed really sneaky for the next few days, trying to walk by whenever I had a reason to open my safe. It was as if he wanted to check if I really had the money in there. I should have known better by that point, but I didn't want to believe in my gut feeling. Soon, I found out that Edward was really up to no good. Just a few days later, I woke up to an eerily empty house. I couldn't help but feel a sense of unease creeping in. Max had already left for school, but there was no sign of Edward. Normally, he would have been in the kitchen, brewing coffee and humming a tune, but today, there was silence. As I walked around the house, the realization slowly sunk in. My safe was also missing. Panic surged through me as questions flooded my mind. What had happened? Where could Edward have gone with the safe? Had he taken all my savings? I tried calling Edward repeatedly, but he didn't answer. Each ring echoed through the empty rooms, mocking my desperation. The calls to my in-laws were met with the same silence. They weren't picking up either. It was as if they had all vanished into thin air. Then I saw divorce papers lying on the kitchen counter. Edward had already signed. Fear and confusion gripped my heart as I clung to the hope that it was all a misunderstanding. I decided to go to the hospital where my father had allegedly been admitted. It was the only lead I had at that moment. My mind raced with thoughts of possible scenarios as I drove there, my heart pounding in my chest. Upon arrival at the hospital, I rushed to the reception desk and asked about my father-in-law. To my shock, the receptionist informed me that there was no record of him being admitted. It was like a punch to the gut. They had lied to me. My hands trembled as I called the police, my voice shaky as I explained the situation. I knew I had to report Edward's disappearance and the missing safe. The police assured me that they would look into the matter and do everything they could to catch him. Then I texted Edward. "How is it going in Texas?"
Wait, what?
What? You think I wouldn't know where you are, hubby?
What the hell is going on? What do you know?
Oh, I know exactly where you are, Edward, but I'm not going to tell you how. Not yet.
What do you mean? This isn't funny, Mary. Where are you?
Oh, but Edward, I thought you were the one who likes surprises. I've got a surprise for you.
This isn't time for games, Mary. Tell me where you are now.
No, Edward, you don't deserve to know. You don't deserve anything from me after what you have done.
What are you talking about? I haven't done anything.
Oh, Edward, you have done plenty. You let your parents use me. You stole my savings. You lied to me, and you disappeared without a trace. But did you even check inside the safe before committing a crime?
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't steal anything from you.
Cut the act. I know you took it. But guess what? There's no money in that safe.
What? No money? But I thought you said you had savings in there.
I did say that, didn't I? But I replaced the money with something far more valuable. A tracker.
Wait, what?
The police are already on their way. They're going to put you in jail.
Wait, no. This is not supposed to happen.
I gave you chances, but you just kept letting me down.
Mary, please don't do this. I'll change. I'll do better. Just give me another chance.
I have given you enough chances, Edward, and now it's time for you to face the consequences of your actions.
Please, Mary, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I was just looking out for my parents.
And not me? Not your child? You're a horrible, horrible human being. You deserve this.
No, Mary, please. I can't go to jail.
Goodbye, Edward. The police promptly found Edward and his parents hiding away in Texas with my safe in their hands. Multiple investigations were conducted. They later discovered that Edward's parents were complicit in the deception. All this time, they had been spending money on illegal gambling. The story about the stroke had been a ploy to gain sympathy and extract even more money from me. In the aftermath, Edward and his parents were arrested for their involvement in illegal gambling and fraudulent behavior. It was a painful realization that the man I once loved had been leading a double life behind my back. The legal battle was tough, and Edward had to pay for both child support and a settlement for the debts he had incurred over the years. Amidst the chaos, I found solace in my friends and family who supported me through the challenging times. They reminded me that I was not at fault for Edward's choices and that I deserved better. Their love and encouragement gave me the strength to move forward. Slowly but surely, I began to rebuild my life. It wasn't easy, but I was determined not to let this dark chapter define me. I focused on my career, nurturing my passions, and fostering meaningful relationships with those who truly cared for me. Most importantly, I forgave myself for having trusted Edward. In hindsight, there were so many red flags, but I was truly blinded by love. I owned up to my mistake and set out to help other women make better financial decisions. My son Max soon went abroad for college, but he still visited me occasionally and updated me on his life and his new girlfriend. It was heartwarming to see him happy, and I couldn't help but smile whenever he shared his stories. As I moved forward, I decided to start a new bank book and continue my passion for saving money. It had always brought me joy, and now I would focus on myself and my own happiness. Looking back, I realized that I had been putting others before myself for far too long. It was time to live for me, to cherish my own happiness, and to let go of the past that had held me back for so many years. My life may have taken unexpected turns, but now I was the one in control and I was the happiest I had ever been.